Perfect. Well, hello everybody who's in the chat. My name is JJ Bell. You can't see me, but I own Excited Experiences, and I'm here with my good friend Nancy. She is with Mayflower Cruises and Tours. We have a really exciting presentation for you tonight, all about the Jewels of the Rhine River Cruise that we are going to be offering in 2026. We are really excited because we've never offered a river cruise before, and we've really wanted to. And we were able to meet Mayflower at ABA, and their brand really reflects our brand and what our guests enjoy and love. And so, after a couple of more discussions, we decided to do one together. And the one we picked out was the Jewels of the Rhine. It is a fabulous trip. The ships are top notch, and you're going to learn all about it here tonight with Nancy. So, Nancy, without further ado, please take it away.
Okay, thank you, JJ. Good evening, everybody. I see people logging on to Zoom, so welcome. I have you all muted so that we won't get any background noise or feedback. So if you have questions, you can scroll over your Zoom toolbar, and there is a chat box there that you can type questions into, and you can also raise your hand. And then if you want me to, I can unmute you to ask your question. So feel free to use that chat button. I will have it open and I'll be able to see anybody that types in a question. So if everything's good, I'm going to go ahead and get started. As JJ said, I am with Mayflower Cruises and Tours. I'm actually based here in Denver and had the pleasure of meeting JJ and Cindy a couple months ago. And I'm just really excited to work with him. JJ seems so full of passion, and I think this is going to work out as a really great partnership. So let me just get started with a very brief history. JJ, can you see that brief history? Just want to make sure.
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. Okay. I'm just going to give you a very brief history on Mayflower. We are owned by the Scenic Group, and that is, as you can see on the screen, 5 different brands. We are all sister companies within the Scenic Group, and we were bought in 2018. Before that, we've been in business since 1979, and Mayflower is based in the Chicago area. Scenic is based in Europe. So we are an international company and specializing in river cruising. That is kind of our strength. So let me just continue on. The river cruise that JJ is offering is going to be on our Emerald brand. That is a 4-star company. And the Scenic brand would be our 5-star. So we are very well known in Europe and very well respected. So I think you're going to have a great time. What you get with Mayflower is, as I said, we are a 4-star company. So what you get with us, we use 4-star transportation. We use 4-star hotel accommodations. We'll handle all your luggage. I always say this, though. All you have to do is pack it. We will move it around for you. On our river cruises, however, we have 3 tour managers that are with you. You get met at the airport by a Emerald representative, and you have a cruise director on the ship, you have an assistant cruise director, and you have an activities manager. So you're very well taken care of. And I'm sure that with enough people, JJ will be sending somebody from the office as well. And then from time to time, especially in the ports, you're going to have personal step-on guides or tour guides with you that are going to take you through your destinations. As far as dining experiences, we try to use mom and pop restaurants versus chains. Of course, you're on the river cruise, all your meals are included on the ship. And I want to mention something about our guaranteed share program. When I go over the pricing for this river cruise, you're going to see that a single person has to add on a substantial amount to be in a cabin by themselves. So if you're a single person traveling, and this is something that you don't want to incur, you can sign up for a guaranteed share program. I kind of compare it to going to camp or going off to college. You're rooming with someone. We match you up with someone, same sex, similar age, that has also has signed up to be in the guaranteed share program. If you pick a cabin category and you're in a guaranteed share, and then somebody else is a guaranteed share in another cabin category, we won't match you up. We don't expect you to move up or move down, and we don't expect the other person to. So we would match you up with someone picking the exact same cabin category. If for some reason we can't find anybody for you, or JJ doesn't have two people from his group that we can match together, then you pay the double rate. You still pay the double rate, and then you're in a single room. There's two caveats to signing up to the guaranteed share program. You can't be a smoker, and you can't be on a CPAP machine. Those are the only two restrictions. So let's go ahead and move on to the actual river cruise. It's the Jewels of the Rhine, and it's a 2026 departure, leaving on September 24th, coming back on October 4th. You're going to fly into Zurich, and you're going to spend your first 2 nights in Luzerne. We have a beautiful hotel for you. And then you will coach up to Hunanga. I hope I'm saying that right. I kind of practiced it. Hunanga, France. And you'll be on the river cruise ship for 7 nights, and you will fly home out of Amsterdam. You will be met at the airport by your Emerald representative, and they will take you in Zurich, and then they will take you over to Luzerne for your first 2 nights. You'll have a welcome dinner with the rest of the group that night, but you'll probably get there in the morning. So you're going to have some time that day to explore the area around your hotel. Beautiful area located in the midst of the Swiss Alps. And the next day, then, we will take you on a walking tour of Luzerne. There you can see, kind of in the middle of that picture, the Chapel Bridge. Very historic bridge. It's absolutely gorgeous. Flowers hanging from it, right on the river there with the Alps in the background. This bridge actually almost was completely destroyed by a fire in the 1990s. But prior to that, inside the bridge, they had beautiful artwork on display. They were able to save some of it, so hopefully some of that will be back up and you'll be able to see that. And it has, like I said, it's been restored, but it's absolutely gorgeous, and this is an iconic landmark in Luzerne. The city is on the river. It's got lakes around it. Beautiful city. You're going to also, on your walking tour, visit this monument. This is dedicated to the Swiss soldiers that were sent to Paris to guard the Palace of Versailles, and they were all massacred during the uprising and the rebellion. So they dedicated this monument to them. So this is something you're going to see on your walking tour. Then you have the rest of the day free. Now, the next day, you have the option to go on this excursion to Mount Pilatus. So what I'm going to talk about your excursions in a couple minutes, but we do offer some optional excursions at an additional cost. And if you do nothing as far as optional excursions the rest of the tour, this is one I highly recommend because it's absolutely gorgeous. Look at that view. You go up on a gondola, you go up to the top of the Alps, and you have this gorgeous view of the surrounding area in Switzerland. So bundle up. You know it's not going to be all that cold, but you're going up to the top of the Alps. And then you can go in that building, grab some hot chocolate, take some pictures. It's a really, really nice day, and one excursion that I do recommend you do. If you choose not to do it, then you have a free time in Luzerne on your own. Then that afternoon, we're going to take you over to France, and you're going to board your river cruise ship. And this is what they look like. All of our ships are identical. So if we ever have a problem where we have to switch ships mid cruise, you won't miss a snatch, because it will be exact same decor, exact same cabin, exact same everything. Our ships were all mostly built after 2017. We have one that was built before that, and it came into dry dock during COVID, and we totally renovated it. So beautiful new ships, 180 passengers on the Rhine, 47 crew. I'm going to quickly go over the cabin categories. This is our Emerald stateroom. So when you come off the pier, you're going to go down one level to these staterooms. Category D and E, as you can see, it's got a window, and you would literally have to stand on that chair to look outside. So this is a great option, though, for those that, if cost is an issue, or if you feel like having a balcony cabin, you don't need that because you don't spend a lot of time in here. You're only going to sleep and shower. Then this is a great option, because there's lots of spots on the ship with floor to ceiling windows that you can see when they're cruising during the day. So don't discount this kind of cabin. It's very roomy, and it's nice if price is an issue. So the bed is a queen size bed or two twins. You see the TV there, the flat screen TV has infotainment on it, movies, Wi-Fi is complimentary. You have bottled water in carafes, and you will get a water bottle from Emerald to fill. So that's complimentary. There's a refrigerator in your room with a mini bar. That is stocked at your expense, so just be aware of that. You also have a safe. The closet has bathrobes and slippers in it, an umbrella, trekking poles, and then the bathroom, of course, is filled with spa amenities and a hair dryer. That's the layout of that cabin. Okay, next cabin up is our balcony suite. We have 3 categories of this. So these are priced based on the position of the ship. The higher the deck and the more central to the ship, the more expensive the cabin is. Okay, so on the middle deck, which is the Vista deck, would be B and C. B would be more towards the middle of the ship, closer to the restaurant. C would be in the back of the ship. On the Horizon deck would be category A. Again, more towards the suites would be in the front, and then more towards the middle of the cabin area to the back of the ship. Now, the Vista deck sells out very quickly, because that's the most desirable that people, it's the priced right, it's in the middle of the ship. So if that's a cabin that you want, I'm sorry about my voice. If that's the cabin that you want, please don't wait too much longer to make that reservation. Everything that I described in the other ocean view cabin is in this one, except now you have what we call a balcony. So if you look on that picture where the carpet ends and the flooring begins, normally that's where you would step outside to your balcony. What we did was we incorporated this into the space of your cabin. And that top window, there's a button on the wall that raises and lowers that top window. And that's what creates your balcony. So if it's cold outside, if it's raining, you can still put that window up as much as you want, all the way up if you want, halfway up, and still not lose the space in your cabin. So we thought this was a really good idea. And now most of the ships, they're being retrofitted this way or being built this way. And here is the layout for this cabin. Then we have the grand balcony suite. This is on the top deck, the Horizon deck. As you can see, the balcony is a little bit bigger, and you have a door and curtains there to shut. Still has the open air system that you see there with the button putting the window up and down. But now you can actually shut it off from the rest of the cabin if someone is sleeping. While we're talking about cabins, let me tell you about our air system. Our air system is very unique. We were one of the first companies on the rivers to do this, and it allowed us to get back into the water immediately when the restrictions were lifted after COVID. We did not have to retrofit our ships because they were always this way. So the air comes into your cabin, it circulates and gets filtered, and then goes right back out. You do not share any air with cabins surrounding you or with common areas on the ship. So that each cabin has its own air filtration system. So you can rest assured that if you hear someone coughing down the hall from you, you're not sharing the common air with that cabin at all. A little bit bigger. The only difference here is not only the size, but you can also order continental breakfast, pre-dinner canapes, after-dinner snacks. You get 2 items of laundry per day in here, and everything else is pretty much the same in this cabin. Here is the layout for that cabin. Wardrobe might be just a little bit bigger. And then lastly, we have owner's 1-bedroom suites. This is, of course, the most plush suite up on the top deck. We have 4 of these. So we have the open air system, not only in the living room, but also in the bedroom portion of this cabin. The mini bar is stocked complimentary every day. 4 items of laundry per day. You get an iPad, and you also get invited to the captain's table for dinner. This is great. I think, you know, if you have somebody that snores, maybe you can ask them to sleep out on the in the lounge area. I've even had one time they split the bed in 2, made them twins, and threw one bed out in the lounge, closed that door so they both could sleep. Very spacious bathroom, a walk-in wardrobe, really nice size cabin. The crew is all English speaking, and your gratuities are included in your cruise rate. So you don't have to worry about putting envelopes together or having a huge bill at the end of your cruise. You could always add to that. You can tip even more if you'd like, but just so you know, everything is included as far as gratuities are concerned, including on your land portion in Luzerne. The only thing that wouldn't be included as far as gratuities is if you eat a meal out on your own somewhere. Let's talk about meals. Breakfast is a buffet. There's an early riser's breakfast, a breakfast buffet, and a late riser's breakfast. And then you have an early lunch that you can go to. And then the lunch buffet is from 12 to 2 on a typical day. On the buffet for lunch, you can also order things off the menu. There's always a chicken, a beef, and a vegetarian option at lunch and dinner. Beer, wine, and soda is complimentary at lunch and dinner as well. Then around 4:30, there's tea time up in the lounge. They serve some snacks, some salads, some sandwiches. And then at 6:45, you'll meet in the lounge and you'll have your port talk for the next day. And the cruise director will go over the next day's excursions and where to be, what time. And then the chef comes out and he goes over his recommendations for dinner. He will always recommend, dinner's a 4-course meal, so he will always recommend something and pair everything, but there's always other options on the menu. And then the sommelier will come out and he will go over the wine pairings for that evening. Then the cruise director will go over that night's entertainment up in the lounge. There's always something to do in the lounge. If you're cruising during the day, they'll have trivia or name that tune or dance contests. And then at night, they bring in local entertainment, which is always really nice. This is in the front of the ship, in the lounge area, and I wanted to highlight this because if you're going to go into that standard stateroom with just the window, this is a great place for you to sit during the day when they're cruising. We have a heated indoor pool, and then at night, the flooring of that pool comes up, and this is what creates our cinema. So you can grab a drink and grab some popcorn and sit here. If you're not comfortable sitting here, you can always watch the same movie in your room. There's a fitness center, the bar area. There's a wellness area. You can reserve time here and have massages. The sun deck is really great too. So we have a seat up there for everyone. So you don't have to go up at 5:30 in the morning and throw a towel on to reserve a chair. There's seating up there for everyone. That pilot house that you see goes up and down. So if it's high water and a low bridge, the crew takes all of this down and flattens that pilot house to about an inch, 2 inches, just enough for the captain to have his eyes on where we're going. And then everything pops right back up. There's a walking track there, as you can see. And there's either tic-tac-toe or putt-putt area. So this is a great place to hang out. And I'll talk about this in a few minutes when we are sailing. If it's really nice out, you might have a barbecue up on the sun deck. And don't forget, I said all your gratuities are included and the crew is English speaking. Our excursions. So we have 3 levels of excursions. 2 are included, 1 is optional at an extra cost. So we have Emerald Plus, which is your standard walking tours, maybe a cooking demonstration or a craft, might be a museum, might be a concert. And then we have Emerald Active. Emerald Active would be hiking, biking, canoeing, kayaking. So on the very first day of your cruise, a list of all the excursions will be there, and they'll just have you check off what you want to do. It'll tell you the level of activity for the active excursions, and it'll tell you the timing for each as well. The Discover Moors, you'll get a list of those a couple months before you have final payment due. And JJ will make sure you get that with the description of the Discover Moors. And these are tours that you can sign up for. They're a little bit more in depth. They're a lot smaller. So if this is something you want to do, get your reservations in right away. And they're an additional cost. Okay, let's jump right into the rest of the itinerary. So now you're on board the ship. You've been in Luzerne for a couple days. And your first port is going to be Breisach, Germany, with a small motor coach tour over to Freiburg. This is one of my favorite ports on the Rhine because it's in the Black Forest. It is so adorable. You're going to absolutely love this port. It has so much to offer on your walking tour, a lot of history, very quaint. And then you get left, let me show you this next slide. You end up in this farmers market area in this area of the town square. And it's just loaded with these fresh vegetables and fruits. And then you have florists, you have vendors that have handcrafted items from the Black Forest. They might have carved cheese boards and bowls. Great place to start your Christmas shopping. And then all these little shops on the perimeter of the square. I bought my cuckoo clock here. I bought lots of Christmas ornaments, a beer stein for every one of my kids here. It's just loaded with the items that you know are from the Black Forest. Great place to do some Christmas shopping. You also can opt to do a bike tour in Breisach. if that's something you want to do. So this town was badly damaged during World War II, badly damaged. And they were able to rebuild it. So most of the town, when they restored it, they tried to keep it in the old world charm, but you will see a mix of old and new. What I want you to notice as you're sailing north on the Rhine, as you go into every port, you're going to notice that these churches and cathedrals are like the central landmark in all of these ports. Pretty much on every one of your walking tours, you will either go by it or sneak inside. Once you leave your guided walking tour and you have your free time, if you haven't gone inside the cathedral in that town, please do, because we have nothing like it here in the United States. Even the one in New York City, St. Peter's, is nice, but it's not anything compared to these churches in Europe, and they're absolutely gorgeous. The stained glass, the artwork, everything is just really pretty. Okay, then when you return to the ship, you're going to have some local entertainment tonight, and your next stop will be Strasbourg, France. And there you go. There is a central iconic landmark in this town, of course, is their cathedral. This is the capital of the Alsace region. So you will have a guided walking tour here. And what you'll notice in your free time around this cathedral are the very upscale little boutique shops that are very typical of Paris. So take some time to just poke your head into some of those as well. Really pretty. This footbridge in front of the church, you do walk across this on your guided walking tour. This whole city is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So really pretty church, a lot of history, a lot of architecture here that is just to be appreciated. And it's known for its half-timbered black and white homes and buildings. This is just so iconic Europe. It's just really pretty. Kind of when I moved to Colorado and I went to Vail, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like being in downtown Europe somewhere. So it's really pretty here. Again, I was just here in December. On the right side where you see that white awning, bought a ton of stuff in that store. So highly recommend that place. Beautiful scarves that are made with wool and the French little berets, the Christmas ornaments. I like to get a Christmas ornament from every town I visit when I go on a trip. So I have a beautiful tree behind me loaded with ornaments from Europe. So great thing to get as far as Christmas gifts too. Your next port is going to be Heidelberg, Germany. This is a university town. You're actually going to dock in Mannheim because Heidelberg cannot accommodate the size of our ships. So you will then coach over to Heidelberg. It's a very short drive. And this is a university town. It's one of the oldest universities in Germany. But you'll first get up into that castle there. It's got some ruins. It's really a beautiful tour. You go inside. You hear all about the history of the king that built that for his queen. And then you will walk down from the castle down into town. Heidelberg is really quaint, very pretty town. This street is just loaded with shops and restaurants. During your free time, great place to go grab something to drink in one of the little restaurants, something to eat. There's also, Heidelberg has a really pretty Christmas market during the Christmas holidays, but they do have a shop down the street. And when I come back for your document review, I will tell you exactly where that is. Great Christmas linens and room after room of handmade ornaments. If you like old movies, I would tell you to Google, it's called The Student Prince, and it was with Anne Blythe and Edmund Purdom, and it was filmed in the 1950s here in Heidelberg. And it's about a prince who goes incognito to the university for his education. And he falls in love with a barmaid. It's a musical, but if you can watch it, I watch it every time before I go over because the scenery and the atmosphere of Heidelberg, you just soak that up. And then when you get over there, you're like, oh yeah, this is great. You can also do a Emerald Active tour up to Mount Königstuhl. It's up top. It overlooks Heidelberg. It's a really pretty walk. And as I mentioned before, when you get the description of the excursions, you'll know the activity level, if it's a 2, a 3, a 4, whatever, and how long it is. So you'll know if you can do it or not. Then we're going to continue to sail north, and you're going to sail through the Rhine Gorge, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So this would be a time, grab something to drink, maybe grab a snack, go up to the top deck or go to the front of the ship. You can also stay in your cabin, but you'll see about 50 castles and ruins on both sides of the river, beautiful vineyards. Your cruise director will get on the microphone, and you will have a narrative as you sail through. It's about 2.5 hour sail, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. This is the Lorelei statue. She is actually, I think this picture is a little deceiving because you think you're going to have to look up. She's actually level on the river, and they'll point it out to you. She was either legend says she's either a mermaid or a sea siren, and she would sing and lure the ships in, and it would crash on the shore on the rocks, and then she would eat the sailors. So I don't know why they built a statue for something like that, but they did. So actually, great story there. You also see this castle. This was a toll station for ships that they would run a train across the river, and then you pay your toll, and then the ships could proceed. Your next port is Koblenz, Germany. This is on the confluence of the Rhine and the Mosel River. It's a 2,000-year-old city. It was first built as a Roman military base. And then during World War II, the Americans actually used it as their military headquarters. So a lot of history here, a lot of military history here. You have a guided walking tour. It's a beautiful town. So you get to visit here, see some military statues. And then we have an optional tour here to the Kokum Castle that you can do instead of your walking tour of Koblenz. So you have 2 choices here today. Your next port is Cologne. This is my favorite cathedral on this Rhine cruise here. You're going to walk across that bridge, which is a really cool experience because you probably have heard of this lots of places in Europe. These are all little padlocks, and it lines this whole bridge. You saw how long the bridge is. So every once in a while, they have to lighten the load here because you can imagine the weight that these locks have added. But people put a padlock on here, and they'll put their initials on it, maybe 2 lovers, and then they throw the key in the river. So when they need to lighten the weight of the bridge, they actually have to cut these off. But as I walked across this bridge twice last year, I didn't notice any space anywhere to add a lock. But it's pretty cool to just see some of them, the writing on them. And here is the cathedral in Cologne. As you've probably noticed in some of these pictures, they stand out, these churches. And the story, this cathedral has a really interesting history because in the year 1164, Cologne was awarded relics of the 3 Magi, which means that they were pieces of bone from the 3 Magi's bodies. They brought it back to the city, and they had no place to keep these things as safely. So in the year 1248, 80 years later, they started building this cathedral, and it took them over 600 years to complete it. And when you see it, you'll know why, because the architecture, the carving, the intricacy of the building is absolutely amazing. Now you can kind of look at the windows in this picture. Another cool story about this one is during World War II, the priests removed, these were stained glass windows. They removed all that stained glass and hid it underground. Because as you can see, these are iconic landmarks, and the Germans could see when they were flying and they were bombing Germany, they could see where these churches were. So they didn't want the stained glass to be ruined. So they hid the stained glass, and then they were able to bring the stained glass back up after the war was over. But in pretty much all these cities, the cathedrals kind of stand out, and it was very easy then to see where the cities were and where to drop the bombs. Not only Germans, but I'm sure Allied forces as well. Another picture of how beautiful this churches are. And this is just a picture of one of the doors, and here you can see how beautiful the carvings are and how intricate the artwork is. And please, if you don't get a chance to go in during your walking tour, head in during your free time. Lastly, we're in Amsterdam, and this is where you'll end your cruise. You're going to have a walking tour here, as well as a glass top boat ride through the city, because Amsterdam is made up of canals. Very cool town. You'll have some free time. Head over to the red light district. It's really something to come home and brag about that you saw it. Can't take pictures, so don't try, because they'll come out and grab your phone from you. But just to walk over, it's very close to the ship. You can take a 20-minute walk to the red light district just to see what it's like. It's something totally different, and part of their culture. So on your canal ride, though, you'll learn about the daily life and the culture in Amsterdam. Their main source of transportation is bicycles, and you'll hear about the tens of thousands of bicycles that end up in these canals every year, just because people drive right into the water. So it's kind of funny. But then you're going to have some free time here, as I mentioned. The night before you get in Amsterdam is your farewell dinner and your gala reception. So that would be probably the only night you might want to get dressed up. We also have, I think I forgot to mention, in one of the ports, a private classical concert that you can go to that's included, excursion. So that might be one night you might want to dress up a little bit more than normal, but everything else is casual. We want you to be comfortable. Let me quickly review the cabin situation. Those ocean view cabins, the standard cabins with the windows, are on the bottom deck there. Middle deck is the balcony suites, along with your restaurant. And then the top deck is your Category A balcony suites, your grand balcony, and your owner's one bedroom, along with your indoor pool and your lounge. There is an elevator between the 3 decks with the cabins, but it doesn't go all the way to the top, obviously, because if we have to lower everything to get under a low bridge, then you can't lower an elevator. Here's the pricing, and JJ has flyers that he can hand out with additional pricing. I am updating JJ's flyers because the itinerary that you saw today is a little different than what's on the flyer. So we just added things and changed one of the ports, but the pricing is the same, the dates are the same, basic itinerary is the same. But he should have his new flyers soon. We just got the new ones today, so we're working on them. Special earning, early booking savings. If you book by the end of May, we will give you free air from any airport plus $200 per person savings. If you book after that, you'll still get the free air till the end of September, but no additional savings. Just to show you what that free air savings looks like, if you would book your round trip air out of Omaha right now, it would be $1,750. So that's quite a savings for you to take advantage of. Your deposit is due with your reservation. It's $400 per person, and your final payment will be due 90 days prior to departure on June 24th. Traveler's protection for this cruise is $569 per person, and it's due at the time of reservation. This is something that you should really pay attention to, whether you buy the travel insurance through Mayflower or you buy it privately. It's really something that you should consider. I highly recommend getting it. You never know what's going to happen. Your deposit right off the bat is non-refundable because we send it right to the ship to hold your cabin for you. So it's a good thing to ensure your investment. It not only helps cancellation for covered reasons before the trip goes out, but if anything, you need insurance while you're over there. If you're on Medicare and you don't have the travel supplement, sometimes Medicare doesn't cover your international expenses. So look into that, make sure you're covered, and check that out. I'm open for any questions if you want to type them in, if you want to raise your hand. I don't see anybody with a raised hand here. JJ, I'm going to unmute you so you can talk if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Thank you, Nancy, for all your time. Hopefully people can ask some questions. We did have some people that have sent in their deposits and everything, so we're super excited to get them on board.
Okay,
And
good.
yeah, just had a lot of great conversations about it. I am so excited. Hopefully Cindy or I will be on this for sure. And we'll see who else comes from the team. So it'll be fun to go out there. Some of the places I've been to on like our bus tour that we put together, but some I have not, and I've never been on a river cruise. So this will be really amazing to try.
Well, river cruising right now is the #1 most popular way to travel, especially since post-COVID. People don't want to get on the big ships. They don't want to be, with thousands of people. The ports along the Rhine, they are very welcoming. They just love when they hear you're on an Emerald ship. We have a very good reputation in Europe, so it's always fun to go into town and just be able to talk to the shop owners and just see taste the different foods and see the different. I love to shop, so I'm always in the stores. But I think you're going to really enjoy it. There's a lot of history, a lot of culture, and it's just really pretty. But I can stay on for a couple more minutes if anybody has a question. I don't see anything coming in on Zoom.
There is, I think I put one in there. It should have came over there.
I don't see any questions. If anybody has a question, they can tap into or type into the chat.
It says chat is disabled. But yeah, in Q&A, I typed in a question.
You have, oh wait, here's somebody. Sorry, Q&A. I got it.
Got it. Cool.
I can type questions in here on the Q&A. Yes. Do you have a limited number of bookings for Excite?
Like, do we book 10? Do we reserve 10 cabins? Or
well, it's first come, first reserve.
okay.
And you're open to book until the ship is sold out.
Okay.
So it's an unlimited until there's no more cabins left. There's 180 people on the ship. So
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
let's have a whole crew of Excite guests.
good. Well, do you want me to stop recording? I don't see any other questions.
Let's see.
Everybody's still kind of on Zoom. Anybody still can raise your hand. I can unmute you, or you can type in a question if you have one.
I'm gonna go to the event on Facebook and see if anybody typed anything in that one before we jump off. Nope. Okay, well, we will be, like you said, this was recorded, so we will post it on our website, and we'll have a link on Facebook too. So go back and watch it or share it with your friends,
Okay.
and we will get our group signed up and get over to Europe for our first river cruise.
Absolutely. So thank you everybody for your attention. Thank you for your comments. I appreciate it. A couple people just said thank you. Very informative. No questions at this time. So JJ and I stay in touch. So please, if you have questions, let him know. If you can't answer him, he has no problem getting in touch with me.
Yep.
So please feel free to ask him. He'll get those updated flyers in a couple days, and he can either email them to you or mail them, right, JJ? You could
Yep.
mail them hard copies if they need them.
Yes, I will.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording, and if there's no other